Shalom, shalom, my little friends. How y'all doing? All right. So we have Ecclesiastes chapter 4. This is what we're going to do today. Man, I just want to give a little bit of a testimony of a woman that said she used to be a prayer warrior. And she's so honest about how she's fallen away, and she wants back. She wants that relationship back and closer with Jesus. And it just so happens that the study we did on Ecclesiastes chapter 3 prepared me. Right after I did that live stream, I went and picked this lady up to take her to her mom's, and we just had an amazing conversation, and it was totally the Holy Spirit. It was the Holy Spirit, He's just wonderful, and how he works. You never know what he's going to do for you, and we need to take every opportunity we can to speak to ones about Jesus, because you never know who you're going to find. You never know who he's going to lead you to. I mean, this girl, this woman, she has an understanding of them contaminating her food and stuff. She has an understanding that she's under a spiritual battle, especially in the mind. She knows that that's where it's at, is in the mind, which is something you don't find very often. Absolutely amazing. And so just all glory, honor, praise, and worship to Yahushua Jesus, our holy creator, for what he does through us. And we should just listen, obey his word, obey what he has to say, because it's amazing what he will do for you, through you, for another. It's amazing. Okay, so we've got Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Oh, here, wait. Let me do this first, so that when someone does come in, and I can get that started right away. That way, if one of y'all want to come in, I might catch you. Don't hang up yet. I might catch you before you hang up. I love talking to y'all on here. I mean, really, that's another one. You never know who's going to pop on here and what conversation we're going to have. It's lovely. Okay, so we're in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, right? And we have seen in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 that Solomon is in his heart. He's in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, and so he's been thinking in his heart. He said in his heart, what is the estate of the sons of men? Thinking about it, and how they're going to be. And so he describes it. Well, now in chapter 4, so he returned. So I returned. Solomon returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun, not beside it or going around it, but we're under it. And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. And so he's saying that the oppressor, the ones that are oppressed, they had no comforter. They feel woe and worry and sadness, and they just constantly in that travail. But even the oppressors that are around them and oppressing them and causing them discord and hurt in their heart, even their oppressors that has power had no comforter. They have no comforter. So we have to remember that just because they seem to be doing better and they can put you down in 2.5 seconds with all the words that they know and understand, does not mean that they're not oppressed. It just means that they're oppressed in a different way, that they have no comforter as well. So let's see, verse 2. Wherefore I praise the dead, which are already dead, more than the living, which are yet alive. So Solomon's saying, I praise the dead more than the living. And he says, yeah, better is he than both they, both the oppressed and the oppressor. That's who he's talking about, which have not yet been. Oh, no, wait. A praise already dead more than living. Better is he. Oh, right. Better is the dead than both they. Right. Because he, the dead, what? Wherefore I praise the dead which are already dead more than the living, which are yet alive. Already dead. Better is he than both they, which hath not yet been. Well, if they're dead, they've already been. They've already been under the sun. Who hath not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. So the ones that haven't been born yet, more than the living which are yet alive. There is he, the dead, than both they are yet alive, which hath not yet been, who hath not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. So he's talking about the oppressor. We're going to figure this out together. We're going to talk about this together because here he is. Let's go to Ecclesiastes in the Complete Jewish Bible. I saw the tears of the oppressed, and they had no comforter, no one to comfort them. The power was on the side of the oppressors, and they had no one to comfort them. So I considered the dead happier, because they were already dead, than the living, who must still live their lives. But happier than either of them is the one who has not yet been born. Okay, so he's bringing. See, sometimes the King James, the way it words things, it's very it's hard sometimes. Because he has not yet seen the evil things that are done under the sun. Okay, so he's talking about the oppressed and the oppressor and how they're here. They, and they have no comforter. And then he's talking about the dead, and the dead's happier than the oppressed and the oppressor, because they still got to live their lives, but happier than either of them is so happier than any of those is the one that has not even been born yet, because they ain't even seen the evil work that is done under the sun. Okay, we got it. Seen the evil things that are done under the sun. All right. So let's go to verse 4. Again, I considered all travail and every right work, that for this a man is envied of his neighbor. This is also vanity and a vexation of spirit. And so I wanted to read out of Complete Jewish Bible as well. Next, I realized that all effort and achievement stem from one person's envy of another. This too is futility and feeding on the wind. It's vanity, it's emptiness, it's nothing, and it's a vexation of the spirit. Envying another one, envying them because they have a greater understanding than we do. It seems. Their knowledge might be more increased, it seems, than ours is. So a man envies that. A man envies that another man has more with their home or with their looks. All of it, you can envy someone for so many things. Knowledge is something that is very, very, like a main envy point. It's something that ones use, Satan uses to come against brother, because we envy the ones that I keep saying we, because I believe that I do it too sometimes, with the ones that have they can just figure it out, that it's not them though, it's the Holy Spirit in them. So maybe I don't, because I know that it's Jesus that's teaching them, but I would love to be able to do it the way they do it. So in a way, that's envy. And so this is also vanity and a vexation of spirit. So we got to be careful with that. The fool folds his hands together and eats his own flesh. Better is a handful with quietness than both the hands full with travail and vexation of spirit. And when I read this, I see that the fool folds his hands together and it eats his own flesh. That he's talking about the fool continues to curse himself, continues to devour himself. And he's saying these things against himself and against others, but against himself. And better is a handful with quietness. Better is that you don't call yourself stupid, dumb, or whatever it is that you feel your judgment upon yourself, than both the hands full with travail and vexation of spirit. Than both the hands. It's better to be quiet than to have both your hands full of travail and vexation of spirit, of hurt and woe and sorrow and unworthiness that you feel toward yourself because you continue to put these curses on yourself. Instead of being quiet, continue to fill your hands, with all of this travail and vexation, because you keep putting yourself down, eating your own flesh, and this is what he's talking about. I feel so here we go. Verse 7. Then I returned and I saw vanity under the sun. Under the sun, we're under it. There is one alone, and there is not a second. Yeah, he hath neither child nor brother, yet is there no end of all his labor. Neither is his eye satisfied with riches. Neither saith he, For whom do I labor and bereave my soul of good? This is also vanity. Yeah, it is a sore travail. So we'll read it from the Complete Jewish Bible so that might put it out there a little bit better for us. The situation in which a solitary individual, man, without a companion, with neither son nor brother, keeps on working endlessly, but never has enough wealth. For whom, he should ask, am I working so hard and denying myself pleasure? This too is truly pointless, a sorry business. And so we see this. This happens more often than not. Well, with me, I know I see it. These ones, they don't have anyone heir. They don't have an heir. They don't even have a niece or a nephew. And they got all this money and all these the house and the cars and the business, but they've worked. The reason they don't have family, brother, sister, any, because they've pushed all that out, or maybe they just don't have a brother or sister, who knows. But what I've seen is ones will push everyone out of their life and build their business, build their wealth, and they have no one to give it to, and they work endlessly, constantly. And what does he say? No end of his labor, neither is eye satisfied with riches. My soul. This is vanity, and it is a sore travail. Of course, it's a sore travail. You have no one to speak to, no one to share the accomplishments that have been done in your life. No one, and it's a sore travail. Of course, it is. And he goes down and he says, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. If they fall, meaning if they fall out of doing things in the spirit, and they continue and they're doing things in the flesh, their brother, us as believers in Jesus Christ, we see one that is fallen, and they're in woe and sadness, and they can't get out of it. Let us long suffer with them, and we help them up. We lift them up, because that's what we're to do, and again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And a lot of us right now, we feel that we have no one in our life to speak to about the things that the Holy Spirit is showing us. The wiles of the devil, exposing the wiles of the devil and shining the light of Jesus. We don't have anyone to talk to. If, but the thing is there's a brother out there or a sister that sticks closer to you than your own brother or sister, or there's a friend out there that sticks closer to you than your own brother and sister. I think it's Proverbs 16 that it says that in. um, Even if we can't see each other, be next to one another, touch one another, hold one another, we're still here for one another. We're not alone. We're not alone. We get down and out because we got nobody to talk to. Everybody thinks we're crazy, but we're not of this world. They think it's strange we run not with them, and we got nobody to talk to. But when we have that feeling of, man, we got nobody to talk to, we go on here. Somebody's doing a live stream. We gather with our brothers and sisters. We send each other a message. Hey, I'm having a hard time. Boom, let us talk. We lift one another up. Two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? We cannot be alone. We are not alone. Jesus' Holy Spirit is always with us. But having our brother or sister, someone that we know we can come to with good counsel and advice, is what he's talking about. You can't be warm alone. You gotta have somebody there that warms with you, and he ain't talking about holding each other. He's talking about the counsel, lifting each other up. Verse 12. And if one prevails against him, two shall withstand him, and threefold cord is not quickly broken. And so again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and threefold cord is not quickly broken. And I love that part down there. Threefold cord is not quickly broken, because man, you got two that are together and speak the words of Jesus, and work together on how do we get to another soul, or and grow a closer relationship with our holy God, our Creator. But you get threefold cord is not quickly broken because you have three minds that are alike, and it's really hard for that doubt to be placed in there by words, because you got three people, you, and then two counsel. You got two counsel you can go to. Hey man, this guy's presenting this before me. I really don't think that this, or I'm not sure. I'm seeing things in the word. What do you think about this? And then you go through it, you study it, you talk about it, and then boom, either the person that presented it before you is right, or threefold cord is not quickly broken, and no doubt from that person can come to you, because all three of you have faith in your holy God, your Creator, and you work together. So let's see. Verse 12. Yeah, it looks like my 13 is all ripped up. Better is a poor and a wise child than an old and foolish king, who will no more be admonished. For out of prison he comes to reign, whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becomes poor. I considered all the living which walk under the sun, with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and a vexation of spirit. Let's read that from the Complete Jewish. So, better a youth who is poor but wise than a king who is old but foolish, no longer willing to listen to advice. True, he rose from prison to be king, yet while ruling he became poor. I observed all that. And wait a minute, let's stay at 13 and 14. Better is a poor and a wise child than an old and foolish king, who will no more be admonished. For out of prison, so this king, he comes to rule. He's reigning. He comes out of prison. He's foolish before he even becomes a king, and so he's coming out of the prison. He comes out of prison to reign. So he's coming out of prison as a foolish man. He's still in it and is a foolish man. And anyone that is born in his kingdom becomes poor. Poor in what? Poor in spirit. Because they're foolish. They're being ran by a foolish king, which is exactly what's going on in all the nations today. All the nations on earth are being ruled by a foolish king. And their people, their kingdom, have become poor in spirit, too much on the flesh, and they're poor in spirit. The complete Jewish Bible says it different um, uh, in a way, but for sure, I can see verse 14 and what it is explaining. And hey, if I'm wrong, let's talk about it. So let's see, verse. I observe that all who live and walk under the sun, took the side of the youth mentioned first, who would rule in the place of the king, and that no limit was set for the number of his subjects. Nevertheless, those who come afterwards will not regard him highly. This too is certainly pointless and feeding on wind. So I consider all the living which walk under the sun with a second child that shall stand up in his stead. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. And he's so all the living which walk under the sun with a second child. So now he's talking about the kingdom of, I believe, Jesus. I believe that he's talking about the kingdom of Jesus. And no one, youth mentioned first, who would rule in the place of the king, and that no limit was set for the number of his subjects. Nevertheless, those who come afterwards will not regard him highly. They won't regard him. They won't give him any, and that's what's going on right now. No one's giving Jesus Christ any. They're not regarding him. He doesn't even exist. And if he does, they're completely against him, and they speak against him. And they don't think of him highly whatsoever. And this too is pointless, and it's feeding on wind. It's junk. It's vanity. It's a vexation of spirit, because he is our only way of living. He is the only way to be rich. We will continue to be poor. Ones will continue to be poor in the spirit, and they will not be rich in the spirit if they keep following the foolish king and don't follow Jesus Christ. Let's see. No, let's give him another one. Okay. Yep. Boom. Interesting. I don't know why I did that. Where it went to the next chapter in the complete Jewish Bible. Either way, well, we've got chapter 4 here. Let's see what's going on over here. No way. God, no way. Oh, everybody's at work. I'm sure it is. Chapter 4. Let's see. 7:32. Well, should we do 5? It'd be long, I don't want one to be. Oh, but I wanted to go back to 16 for a second. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Also, Solomon's like, I praise the dead more than the living, and better is he which has not yet been, who has not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. So I'm getting at, if it's possible for reincarnation, then how are there ones that have not yet seen the evil work that is done under the sun? And how is there no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them, and even those that come after, if there is reincarnation? It isn't there. It's no way. There's no bone. In Ecclesiastes, more than once, it puts the reincarnation thing right out the water. I mean, right out of it. Well, I'm not going to do 5 today. I'm not. I love y'all so much. And it's only 25 minutes. You know what? You know what? Yeah. All right. Y'all have a blessed day in the name of Yahushua. And thanks so much for listening.